All right, guys, welcome back to the Walleye Files. This week's fishing report from Lake Erie, our good buddy Captain Ronnie Rhodes. Ronnie, how you doing, buddy?
Doing really good. How's everybody doing out there tonight?
Doing well. Got a heat wave here in
Okay.
Minnesota, so that's nice.
Right? Yeah, we got it today too.
Maybe even get out on some open water here in the next couple days, hopefully.
Well,
So,
they've been out since yesterday. A couple guys got out, a day or two before. Everything on our side is opened up, at least from Lorraine to the west. Uh, I'm not sure about Missouri. I think Missouri's going to need another couple days. But with this good weather, she'll open up.
yeah. Hey, before we start here, Ronnie, why don't you plug any of your social media, your if you have a website for your business, why don't you plug all that?
Yeah, my charter business is Wide Open Waters here on Lake Erie. I run a 238 Warrior, and we're out of Lorraine, Sheffield, Avon, Fairport Harbor, wherever the fish are at, I go. Usually I start up, the west end, and then I come back. I trailer my boat. I do 1 to 3 people, $500, 5 hours dock to dock, and then if you want a fourth person, it's 650.
Awesome.
So tell me, Ronnie, obviously your background, you're a tournament fisherman, and you still are, but
Yeah,
you've been guiding for a couple of years now, well, actually quite a while now. Um,
28.
yeah, so just a couple. Um,
Couple.
Talk to us what these fish are doing now, and then where they're going to be transitioning.
Well, right now, I think we learned a lot of stuff ice fishing out here, and I never knew this until I started. Till we got good ice back in 15. We noticed the males were spawning, and then some other places my friends were ice fishing, and they noticed fish were spewing. Safe word to say, I guess, and it makes you wonder just how early these fish really start doing their business. So right now they're going to be going up looking for that warmer water. They're still going to eat their fish. That's all they do, right? They eat, they spawn, and then they move on to wherever they decide to go to. So right now these fish seem to be in a little bit warmer water, which would be anything that's if you find any dirtier water, that's the first place I go look for is some dirtier water first. And then after they spawn, you're going to have more that's going to spawn later. And it just seems like every week there's going to be more and more spawning. Then it finally ends up they just start all moving out. Your younger fish will usually stay up the islands for the rest of the year, off and on, and move around up there.
Okay, so
Gotcha.
right now, it's safe to say that West End, from Port Clinton west is probably your majority of your spawners right now, and then there's obviously different pods of fish as you move further east. There's fish in front of Huron, Lorraine, Sheffield, Cleveland, etc. Right?
Yeah, and I've been saying this for many, many years that I don't think anybody really knew just how many fish are really out of Lorraine and Huron and yeah, all the way east. I think we got so hooked up. Always go to the islands. Always go to the islands. And I did that as a kid, right? Casting with my dad and what have you. And then we finally started running trips, and we noticed all these fish were hanging here. It was just quiet. Now, as you guys know, it's all over. So these fish will spawn a little bit later. So if you go out Lorraine and you're going to have to work for them right now, I'm sure you can catch some fish. Whether you come in tight and fish around the walls jigging, or even out there jigging, and you could also get them trolling out there for sure. It's just probably going to take you a lot longer because the water's it's pretty cold out here.
With the temperature the next maybe 2 weeks, what do you anticipate the bite doing?
Oh, they put the smack down on them today. It just, we get that extra hour, 10 minutes or so of that warm weather. And as y'all just said earlier, that you had that warm weather in Minnesota and what have you, and Green Bay and all that. It's hit here. It's really starting to kick in. Like I said earlier, these fish want to eat. Just because they're spawning, they still eat. And now they're just going to go up into the shallows or up on the reefs. And it's a timing thing. It's just whatever temperature is good for them.
Okay.
Awesome.
So, is there? You said the guys really smacked them today. Is there any special colors guys have been using? Baits they've been using?
Well, I think it's pretty much whatever you put out. There's colors that I like to use right now, depending on the water clarity. Again, the old school blue and silver, fire tiger, clown. Those are some of the ones that I'll start with. Again, the water's a little cleaner. I'm going to stick with some of those colors. Um, In the dirtier water, I'm going to go with, some chartreuses, some whites, and even sometimes some all black lures.
So if somebody was going to head out there, they'd never been to Ohio before, and they were a friend of yours, reached out and said, "Hey, can you tell me, am I going to be jigging? Am I going to be throwing all my trolling stuff in? What am I gonna do? What would you tell them?"
Well, I tell them to bring both because, or if they're going with me, I'll have both. I'm a troller by heart, but, I started off, the jigging. So, yeah, I just tell them to bring in some old school stuff. I'm going to go back in your dad's time there, son. The old rapid rogues. I only got about 200 of them, and they come with me everywhere I go. And then, obviously the Husky Jerks is still there. Your reef runners and the Berkeley stuff has still been good, even in this colder water. And it's got a lot of action to it a little bit, but man, I've been catching a lot of that hit stick. That hit stick's been really good for me for the past since they come out.
The deep diver?
I shallow it up or go slower with it and just let it kind of, do its love through the water. That's all. And then do your S turns and stuff. It obviously with the Lawrence, you got to keep your eye on your Lawrence to make sure you know where you're at. If there ain't no fish there, get out there and go find some. So you might not even fish for an hour or two sometimes, Sit back, relax, be careful, watch. Now, also, I want to make sure everyone knows when you come out here early, and if we get more rains, be careful of logs, anything under the water. I've seen it happen. So just don't go out here and do 100-mile-an-hour. Take your time and be safe. That's first and foremost. And just go around and see what you find, because there will be debris underneath the water that you might not see. And you'll find it fish.
Yeah. When you said you're looking for a little bit dirtier water, I typically when I'm out there, I'm always checking my lower unit just to see how good I can see it. Do you have any tips on like how dirty you want it? Do you want to be able to see the prop real well?
In our minds, yeah, you might want to see it, but we're not a fish. They don't care. It could be dirt, and sometimes you have that happen to you. You go out there, you got a nice dirty line, and then you have a lot of dirt. Just go fish it. Just go fish it, and they'll be there because that's what they want.
For sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Ronnie, for being with us. Like you talked about, follow that warm water, guys. Follow that little bit dirty water. Ronnie, you got a phone number guys can reach you at?
Yeah, 440-714-2813. You can go to Facebook, catch me on Ronnie Rhodes or Wide Open Waters. If I don't answer, just leave me a message or a PM, and I'll be sure to get right back at you. Leave me a name and phone number.
Awesome. Thanks, Ronnie.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a good
Thanks for everything, Ronnie.
You're welcome. Take care.
Bye, guys.